Hello guys. Sorry I couldn't get to you the last week because I was home with a cold and I was kind of sick, so I couldn't get out. Temperature's changing now in Italy. It's definitely colder. And today we're on the topic of parks in Italy. As you can see behind me here, we are at the top of a mountain called Monte Barico. And this is a special episode today because we're in my home city of Vicenza talking about parks. I will make other videos that talk about other parks in other cities, but in the meantime, this is my home city's memorial park dedicated to all the soldiers of the Second World War. And this is one of the lookout posts that they had that was overlooking the city, basically, of their war heroes. And here, as you can see, there is the main entrance right here. Let's take a walk through the park. And what I wanted to say a few weeks ago is the thing that about parks here in Italy, in the sense that if a park doesn't have like a historical or some type of World Heritage site or something like that, usually the government doesn't pay for those parks and for the upkeep of the park. It's mostly the town or the city that has to pay for that, taxes and otherwise. And just so you can see, here's the backside of the mountain of the Monte Barico that we're on top of. And what we're looking at here is the back of the city, basically. It's more going towards Verona, that type of place. But anyway, let's walk over here, give you guys a little tour of the park. And everybody, I mean, it's cold right now in Italy. It's getting that point where you always have to go out with a coat or something on because it is quite cold. And yeah, as you can see, let me see if I can walk up over here. See if I can look down here. You guys can see the park here. It's early in the morning. It's almost 10 o'clock right now. And I know most people will probably say, hey, how come you didn't do this video in the summertime and things like that? Because in the summertime, it's almost like saying, I want to go to Hawaii all the time because it's always hot. It's not exactly true. Most people don't know this. That me as a kid, I lived in Hawaii when I was a kid, and because my father was in the military. So the thing is that Hawaii was beautiful in the colder months and stuff like that. The only problem is that certain beaches were, whoa. Okay, just talking. A dog over there. Well, I was saying though, because yeah, basically when I was a kid, I used to live in Hawaii, and people always think that Hawaii usually most of the times is hot all through the years and everything and stuff like that, but it's not true though. In December, January, February, it's pretty much, it gets cold, not as cold as here, but in the sense that you would think that certain beaches, you could go to the beach and say, yeah, you know, I can go to the beach and everything, but you couldn't, because certain beaches, the waves are so big and they were so dangerous that you couldn't go, you know. And still, it was beautiful to watch surfers and things like that going through the waves anyway. I mean, daredevils, whatever you want to call them. But anyway, yeah, getting back to the topic at hand, Italy in the sense of parks. got a dog here following me. I guess he smells my dog a little bit here. Yeah.
Parlo anche italiano, sto facendo un video per YouTube, poche parole del turismo in Italia. Yeah, I was saying before that, basically, parks in Italy sometimes can be beautiful even during the wintertime. I mean, not every place is always beautiful during the summer. Sometimes during the winter times they're more beautiful than other places. I've lived in Colorado. I've been in Colorado for 4 years when I was a kid, and I have to say that there were certain summer days when the sun would come out just like it is today here in Italy, and it would look beautiful. Like you would have the snow on the floor and everything. I mean, it would be really, really nice, you know. I mean, it'd be a perfect day for snowboarding. I know you snowboarder guys out there, you know. It's I snowboard too, but you know, I couldn't go snowboarding last year because I didn't have the time with work and all. But yeah. Let's go out to back to the entrance. This park is fairly small. I wanted to get to another park today. I might get there later. It's another park next to the hospital, but it was packed with traffic. There was traffic to the top. Like that parking lot, out of all the city, that parking lot has like the worst traffic. Seriously, it's nigh impossible unless you get there at 7 or 6 in the morning. So. Yeah, let's walk out of this park. I need to show you guys down here. We're walking through. Oh, it's so cold. I mean, it's warm in the sun, but when you hit the shade, it's like, oh, freezing cold. But anyway, here's the memorial park here, dedicated to all the fallen soldiers of Second World War. This one right here is from the first. Because you have to think that since this spot right here is overlooking the main city, it had to be protected more than once for the First and Second World War and things like that. So, yeah, so what you'll find over here is lots and lots of, it's a museum basically here at the top of it's a museum plus a park. And you can see here that we've got old cannons and I think this is a fuel barrel from those times, I guess. And I remember there was a few years ago, I remember they had to dig a live shell out of the ground in the cemetery. And the problem with it is that they didn't know if the shell was still active or, you know, was it going to explode, because being in the middle of the cemetery in the city, you had the problem where if it blew up, basically you'd have dead bodies and bones being thrown halfway across the city because the bomb was so big. And considering, I think the bomb was from the Second World War or the First, I can't remember, but it was a 1-ton bomb. It was basically like, considering my height here where I'm standing, it must have been somewhere around 2 meters big. I mean, something that would have been definitely dropped out of an airplane. So, and saying that here, that let me show you how they had to guard this mountaintop. Because on this mountaintop here you can see straight over the whole city, and that's the main thing that I said today. I said I'm going to start from the top of the city and then let's move down. So you can see here where we're overlooking the church. Let me move over here so you can see this. And this is the other side of the city, basically. We're talking, if you go farther to the right, I think you're moving more towards Venice and Padua, those places. And more you move to the left, which you'll see later when we go farther down to the church over there, you're going more towards Verona, Milan, those places. And it's pretty cool though. I mean, check out the just to show you, I'm on a wall right here just to show you that. Let me back up so you can see this. And you have to imagine that, you know, Second World War and the First World War, they had to defend this place. You can imagine, like, if the trees were all knocked down and they had fortifications, how it would have been different. And let me see if I can walk over here, give you guys a view. Sorry, it's just my cold has been really, really bad last week. I was just kind of messed up, so I mean, it wasn't too bad. I was over to get it quick, but I mean, here it is right here. Check this out. Show you guys this. It's the museum right here. Guess that was a First World War gas mask, I think, considering from the boots and everything. And lots of people come here every year, visit this place. Mostly during the summertime, but then again, like I said before, some places are more beautiful in the wintertime. I mean, it's not like it's gonna go anywhere, you know. It's not like the place is completely different during different times of the year, but it's always the same place. So let me go out to the exit here, walking down. And I didn't show you guys this at the beginning though. At the front fort right here, we have all the names of the fallen soldiers here on the walls, just like every other First and Second World War memorial. Out of all the places here in my home city that I have to say, this place and a few others, in my personal opinion, are quite creepy. They have their historical, you know, their historical, you know, things that happen in that place, but still, it's quite creepy sometimes. Just, it's more of the feeling of what happened in the past, you know, past wars. I mean, nobody, you know, would feel at ease in a place like that, but still, I mean, right now, in the way that it is today, it would seem impossible that they would have a war, you know, in a place like this, you know. So so now we're gonna move down to the church at Montebarico, where we have the famous Madonna, which I'll tell you guys a story once we get there about how that church came to be. So let me show you guys the exit here. If you can see that. Exit. Here we go, going down to the road where they have a park here on the right side, and then they have a sidewalk that goes all the way down to the church, but I'm not going to walk it because it's too cold and I don't feel like walking. I have got to Montebarico. I went down a little bit with my car, and right behind me here is the Church of Montebarico, overlooking the rest of the city, which is on the other side. And right now I'm in just a little green area. I mean, I wouldn't exactly consider this a park, but it's more just a green area of the mountainside here, so to speak. And I just wanted to move down here so I can tell you guys a little story about how the church here came to be. It was the year 1426 or somewhere in the 1400s that a farm girl at the time, the city was basically going through a plague in the town, and nobody knew what to do, and there was a farm girl that's seen basically that's seen an image, so to speak, of the Virgin Mary. So she prayed to the Virgin Mary and said, you know, how can, you know, make this plague go away and stuff, you know, because they were suffering. So, and then what happened was the Virgin Mary said if the townspeople would create a church in her image, to dedicate, you know, to the Virgin Mary, the plague would go away, and that's what happened. Because as soon as the church went up, the plague mysteriously vanished. And that's one of the stories that are here at Montebarico. This is my home city, and now I'm just gonna move down the staircase here to show you guys little bit of the parking area up here. It's basically a church sitting on top of a hillside, looking over the whole city, and the parking lot's right in front of it. And this is one of the most beautiful places that I like the most in my own town, because you can come here at night and just relax, you know. I mean, bring your girlfriend, smooch in the car, do whatever, you know. for those people that are in a relationship and stuff like that. But here's one of the memorials for the soldiers that lost their lives here on this mountain and around Italy. Here they're giving the respect and honors to the Alpini. Great respect for them. As you can see the date here, September 27th, 1953. It's quite a big monument here. Really respectful one too. For all the soldiers. Respect to them. And this is what it looks like when you're looking down from here. Now let's move down. Let's walk down here real quick. I'm not going to stay here long because I wanted to cover another park which was a little bit out of town. It's still in the city. It's still considered part of the city, but it's not. It's not in the city. It's on the outskirts, basically. So move around. Wow, these steps are so slippery. A little bit of mud on the steps. Gotta watch out. So here it is again. Show you guys this parking lot. This parking lot is beautiful. I love the floor on this parking lot. And if I can tonight, I'm going to give you guys a little snippet, if I can, because here every Thursday, I think one Thursday of the month, or maybe even tonight if I'm lucky, there's a group of American guys that come here and they're into auto tuning and stuff like that. I wanted to save it for an auto tuning or a car episode where I talk about cars and transportation here in Italy, but I might throw it in tonight if I get lucky, if they're here, obviously. So now we're just going to walk around the outskirts of the parking lot. Such a good day today. I thought it was going to rain today. I hoped it didn't rain because we had about 2 weeks of straight rainfall, like on and off, and then we had lots of fog the last few weeks, and that's common here. And because we're basically at ground zero, if you consider elevation in the home city where I'm at right now, it's ground zero in the sense that you're at water level, so there's lots of humidity during the winter time. You'll find lots and lots of fog. Kind of feels like that movie, The 13th Warrior, if you want. So, man, it is cold. I thought it would be a little bit warmer with the sun out, but anyway. So here we are, and I forgot to show you guys something over here that I don't know if you can see them from here though, but anyway. So what they did here in the parking lot is when you get to the parking lot, they have little inscriptions on the on the walls right here, right? And when you look at the description and you look straight up, you're looking basically at the place, you know, in the sense that in every cardinal direction it's written the place that you can look at from here. All the different towns and cities. This place is called Passo della Borcola. I never really read all of these, to tell you the truth, though. I mean, I've been here like a million times, but I've never. Let me show you guys some famous ones. Well, we have Schio over here. If any of you guys have been ever in vacation over here, been to Schio. So basically, if we're looking at it from this direction, we can see Schio out in the far distance. Apparently, from that, which I understood from all the years being here, but. And let's see if we find any other ones. See, they have continuous writing across the whole. Each little column has their own inscription of what town or city that you can see from this point. And standing from here, which I'm about to show you guys in a second, you can understand why this was a really historical place for the First and Second World War. Because it's overlooking most of the city and most of the other cities too. So you can imagine if there were bombs and people actually going to war in this place, what you would be able to see from here. And strategic tactical spot, you know. It's a really
really interesting place to visit if you want to skip the big cities and you want to come to a place, because let's face fact, I think that Vicenza is not much of a city. It's more like a big town, because I'd say between 60 and 70%, considering social media and other things like that, the city is connected, so everybody basically knows each other. So if something happens, basically somebody already knows, who was involved or what happened, or or somebody was there, because the city is so small. It's not as big as Padova or Verona or some other places like that, but I mean, still, you can see. And here you have the little, how do you call it? Little binoculars here. You can see out. Just got them installed new, because I remember years ago they didn't have these new ones. They had the old black ones that kind of got destroyed. Got really destroyed. I don't know what happened. I wasn't here to see it, so I don't know. And it's a really good view from here. Give you guys a little standstill here so you can see. Everybody was talking about Monte Grappa and everything, so here you have the writing right here, Grappa right there. So if we're looking out from this side, if we get a good pair of binoculars or even a telescope, we should be able to see, Bassano de Grappa, I guess, if that's the Grappa that they're talking about, because there's lots of different types, I guess, in certain places. But anyway, let's move on over here. Let's see what other Piave. Yeah, we have Piave here. Check this out. Piave. So from here, we should be able to see all the way down there to the town called Piave. I don't know, out of all the years that I've been to this place, there's one thing that I miss the most out of all of this place, out of all of these years. There's a little place over here up ahead, because basically they have a coven of nuns and priests that live up here in the villas and whatnot. And I think it was 2008, 2009, they decided to close the bar here, because they had an open terrace bar, which I can show you now right here, that you can sit here and drink and eat a sandwich or something and look over the rest of the city. You had a nice view, and I don't know why they closed it, and they kept it closed ever since. I always said it would be nice if someone would take over the bar again, and I guess they didn't have enough people coming. I guess here's part of that. As you can see, it's closed down, and that's the problem here in Italy right now, is that, I mean, I could understand businesses, people that were, in the business for money and whatnot and stuff like that, but I mean, in cultural senses, places like this, in my opinion, should still be, they should be kept up, because when tourists come here, like, what are they expecting besides the usual restaurants, clubs, discos, that sort of thing? I mean, culturally, we need, to preserve that which is, the past, the history, the whole. I know there were millions of people that would say, oh, we're already doing this and stuff like that, but I mean, still, you have to have some fun, which I'm considering, a bar looking over the rest of the city would be nice if they put it back. and that's the thing, though. It's like every other bar that you go to here has always had problems and stuff like that, but this one never had any problems. Like, I can understand if they had to pay rent or something like that was really high, because most of the times here in Italy, if you have a bar or something or a restaurant in the middle of the city, you pay more than outside of the city, but it depends on the real estate. I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, so let's get out of here and wait, but first I got an idea. Let me show you guys the church. If you guys, well, actually, nah, I'm gonna leave the church for another episode. Stay tuned, guys. If you guys want an episode, I'm gonna make one, especially for churches. Tell me in the comments. I'll make it for you. Yeah, I'll go to as many churches as I can. Here we have too many. So let's go to the next park. See you later. Bye. Okay guys, here we are at the next park that I wanted to show you guys. And this park right here, we're a little bit out of the city. It's called Lago di Fimone. And to tell you, give you a general, like, to tell you how big the park is, so to speak, I would say maybe about 1 kilometer by 2 kilometers. That's how big the park is. Let me show you guys around here for a second, if you can see that. It's quite a nice park. They had a few swans over here too. Let me see if I can get that in the shot. And one thing I have to say about this park is that I like it more than most of the other parks that are in my hometown city of Vicenza. I call it town because, like I said before, I mean it's more of a small city than an actual big city, considering all the other cities that are around it are more bigger. So, and yeah, Lago di Fimone here is a really nice place because of the serenity. You know, you don't have the cars and everything. The only parking place is back that way, and you can't hear it if you're in the middle of the park. So, and I forgot to point out before, if you follow my finger here and you see the whole tree line at the bottom of the lake, the first tree line at the bottom, that whole tree line is a whole path that goes all the way around the park and all the way back to the parking lots in this area where I parked. And yeah, anywhere along these lines people can go fishing and hunting. I don't know about hunting in this area. I know there's lots of hunting here in Italy. If you're the type of person that likes to go hunting, Italy is full of places where you can go hunting. I don't exactly know what kind of animals. Usually I think it might be like rabbits or something like that. Rabbits, quail, some other things I can't really put my dot on right now, but for fishing you're gonna find lots more fish here than other things to hunt, trust me. And the thing is that here in Italy, to fish in streams, ponds, lakes, any kind of place that's inland, you have to have a permit that's given to you from the city council. You have to go sign up and do the thing and everything. But if you're a tourist coming here, you can get together with local fishermen and they can let you fish with them. And you have to remember that there is a limit to how many fish you can fish, basically, because Italy's been having the problem lately because pollution and other factors and stuff. The fish population has been really getting low, and they've had on the other side of the lake, I think pretty much around that area, pretty much around there. But anyway, they have like a little reserve where they're trying to reproduce the fish population. Here in a lake like this, they don't really have much of a problem like that, but in most of the streams, I think, if I'm not correct, because I was talking to my grandfather about it years ago, and yeah, most of the streams and rivers and stuff like that are really lacking in fish because of various reasons, pollution or whatnot, or otherwise, or too much fishing. People like to fish here. And if you're a person that you like more the sea, you know, like you go out to the sea and stuff like that, the sea is a different story here in Italy because you don't have to have a permit to go fishing in the sea. And I had a friend of mine who was telling me a whole bunch of fish stories and stuff, the fishing stories, and if he can, yeah, maybe another episode I'll talk to him, bring him on board, and ask him, you know, to tell him some of his crazy fishing stories of people in the sea, you know, doing crazy stuff, because most of the people that go fishing and stuff around here have some of the most amazing, most craziest stories to tell you, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know, stuff happens, you know. I'm just walking down the path here, but I'm not going to walk around the whole park today because it's too much to film. It's going to be way across the whole other side of the park. And in the meantime, but I will, considering that it's 11 o'clock in the morning, I need to go back that way. And there's a bar that I need to get some coffee and, you know, just relax, and I can show you guys that. And here we're coming up. Yeah, and like I said before, when I was back at Montebarico, that most of the places here in Italy, you have, if it's not a World Heritage Site, if it's not like some wars have passed through it or something, they don't really, the government doesn't really pay for it. It's the city with the taxpayers and stuff that have to pay for it. So, and that's one thing about this park that I always wondered over the years, how come there's not that many parties and stuff that happen over here, any campfires and things like that. But as you can see, there's an issue here, is that around the whole park, you have, private families that have private farms and private farm fields and things like that. So they don't want to have people loitering and making noise at night and stuff like that. So even if you're here at nighttime and you start making too much noise, or you're having a party, I mean, I've heard stories here of people saying that even if they started like a campfire, the neighbors would call the cops on them. Yeah, it happens here sometimes. Because they just don't want the park to go to ruin, obviously, and then the fields, their own personal farm fields and things like that. And I totally respect them because of that, because this is one of the parks in the whole of my city where not that many people go, not that many people know about it. Some people know about it, but they never visit it here, you know. I mean, some people do, some people don't. And it's a year-long thing, though. This park is open year-long for fishing and hunting and stuff like that. Me personally, I've never seen any hunters here, but for fishing here, it's really, really heavy. I've had friends, I mean, some fishermen will come out here even at nighttime, 3, 4 in the morning, lanterns and chem lights and whatnot, trying to fish at night, because there's certain fish, obviously, that it's better to fish for those types of fish at night. And I'm just gonna skip here through all the walking so I can get to the other side. And as you can see here, as I told you guys before, farmlands. Yeah, there is privately owned farmlands, and you can see the house down there. And one house like that sometimes can even own the whole land from mountain to mountain, basically. You can see all the way down in the distance, they have their vineyards all the way down there. And let me walk around here. Let's see, where do we got? And here we got one of the spots here where if you want to have a picnic and things like that, you can come over here and enjoy a nice family picnic whenever you want. Here's one of the signs here that talking about, you know, all the different kinds of wildlife you're going to be seeing in the park. I'm going to back up here. Here's something splashing in the water over there. Don't know what it is. Go check it out later. And this is Vicenza I'll. Don't know exactly what that means. Guess it's something to do with the wildlife here. That. And you see, let me see, there's another house over here. And this is what I was telling you before. One single house over here, one single household can own basically almost half of this field sometimes. I mean, most of the times people would think, that there were private contractors or private farmers that own the fields, but instead it's most of the families that live around here. Some of them have cow stalls and horse stalls and sheep stalls and all kinds of animals. So you could come here during the daytime. At nighttime, it's not viable because they will call the police on you just for being here at night. Even if you're not really destroying any property or doing anything bad, they don't want people here at night because families live around here. And you have to take into account that Italians are really, really religious people in certain places of Italy. And I don't know who sprayed over this, but they should be hanged for this. But anyway, here's a little Jesus statue here. If you guys can see that, somebody spray painted over it. I don't know why they did this. I think this is another reason why people call the cops generally when people are in this park at nighttime. I still don't understand it. I mean, it's plain ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, it's one of the parks. If I need to see if I can get to the park that's at the hospital. I wanted to show you guys that today because that's one of the good parks that are it's a little bit smaller than this, but equally as beautiful. But let's see here. Okay, so I finally made it to the park that I was telling you guys before about. That's right next to the hospital. And I'm sorry before I had to cut video because my battery died on me on my video camera here. So I had to go to the store and get some more batteries, and I didn't want to go back to the park that I was at because it's a little bit far out of the city and I didn't want to drive all that way. But anyway, now we're sitting here in the park right next to the hospital, and if you can see the building right there, that's just the roof of the hospital way back there. And basically this park right here is in the middle of the city, and the coolest thing about this park, I have to say, is the animals. For example, like chickens, any kinds of duck and stuff like that, they let them all run loose over here because it's a fenced-in park. And all around the park you have your fitness course and everything. Let me show you guys that. Let me walk through that in the meantime. Show you guys some of that stuff. I love these trees over here. So right now, moving up to the hospital here. And basically this park right here, it's run mostly by the city. It's not any World Heritage Site or anything like that. But considering that it's right next to the hospital, usually most of the times if somebody's going through rehabilitation and stuff like that, this is the hospital for that too. And here, as you can see, here's the hospital right over here. And there's the entrance to the hospital, the main city. Here we have some of the fitness course here. Let me give you guys the walk around into the whole place here. If you can see, this is the best place to just some of the scenery here in Italy. It's not like other places. It's nice, They really stick to their green places here in Italy because it's good like this. I mean, I think every city in the world should have green places that are totally dedicated so people can relax and chill, even if it's just on the weekends or whatnot. And as you can see, it is November right now. It's pretty cold right now. The sun's going down. There's a little bit of clouds that formulated. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. But anyway, this is so beautiful. Wow. I don't really come in this park too much. I mean, me personally, but I mean, I've been here years ago with the sports teams and stuff that I did part of, and we used to run laps over here on Sunday morning. Used to get here like at 7 in the morning and run laps and stuff like that. Yeah, if you're ever here in Italy and you want to work out, if you're a kind of person that likes to keep fit and stuff like that, they have everything here that you would need, you know. Nice scenery and everything. And there's, again, the hospital, as you can see on that side. This park in specific, I think it's every twice or once a year they have a horseback riding competition. I don't exactly remember the name for the sport, but it's the sport where the horseback riders have to jump obstacles with the horses, and they do it on the other side, which we're going to get to in a second. I'm just trying to show you guys the obstacle course over here, the fitness stuff, so to say, fitness route and everything. Yeah, it's pretty big. This park right here, compared to the last park we were in, I'd say it might be 1/4 of that, maybe a little bit more, pretty much. And I love the way the trees grow in this place over here, especially because some of the trees, they just look something totally out of a Blair Witch Project movie or something. and that's the thing. This park, on the other hand, is different than the other one that we were in before, the Lago di Fiumone, is because since this has a gate all around it, they close it at night, so it's only open until a certain time. And as you can see right here, it doesn't exactly have to be summertime to be beautiful, you know. I mean, even during the fall season, I mean, walking over leaves here, it's nice to see, you know. It's this mix between green and the autumn colors. Let's walk through here, though. Let me show you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get here earlier. I had to take a little lunch break. And yeah, I'm going to go right now to see if I can show you guys another little teeny tiny park that's outside of the main city here. It's a few kilometers outside of the city, but I just wanted to stress that in each park that you have here in Italy, since some of the parks are controlled by the town itself rather than the government, so each town always has like different things on a billboard, usually, that what you can't do in the park. I mean, obviously you can't litter, because as you can see, the grass here is pretty clean, and they always keep an eye on that. They have trash cans everywhere. But some other parks that I've seen that I'm going to show you guys if I can get there later right now in a little bit, yeah, they have so many rules written down for the park that at a certain point nobody went to the park anymore. I don't, it's gonna sound strange saying it like that, but it's true, because yeah, they built the park and then they put these rules down, which, I mean, I can understand no littering, keep your dogs on the leash, that sort of thing. But other than that, I don't see why you have to put so many rules in a park, especially if it's in a small town, which in the cities would be obvious why some of the parks would be closed. They don't want people loitering at night and things like that. But on the other hand, it's like, you know, different towns have different laws that they put down for each park that they handle. So just be wary of that sometimes. So there's certain things that, like, for example, if you're having a picnic, right? Let's just say it's the summertime, right? You get the picnic, right, and you start making a barbecue or a fire or something like that, right? And it goes into the nighttime, right? And you're sitting there with your family members just partying or relaxing or just drinking a beer, just chilling, you know, just talking to each other. And the problem is that they will call the cops on you because, like, again, I said before earlier today, is that around the parks, there's certain parks, not all of them, but certain parks, like the one we were at before, Lago di Fiumone, they have private farms around the whole park, that are owned by the people that live in the houses right next to them. So they don't want people loitering at nighttime making noise, that sort of thing. So yeah. So guys, yeah, I just left Vicenza, and I'm a little bit on the outskirts of the city, and I'm in a little town which I'm not going to say the name because of the topic that I'm going to be talking about over here, especially because of the park here. And there's a story behind the park, but first I want to walk up to the park and show you guys what I mean, what happens when the city itself, like actually the government itself, doesn't take control of parks, and you have these little towns or cities or villages that take care of the park. So this is a prime example, and if you guys want to know the name of the town, I'll let you guys do that. You guys have to look it up. I'm not going to do it in total respect of the town, but you know. And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here behind me. Yeah, let me just show you guys that for a second here. It's like, so from what I'm looking at, you can't, you have to watch out for holes in the ground. You have to watch out for little kids hitting each other. You have to watch, you can't camp in here, you can't have music in here, you can't use radio controlled cars, you can't go in with bikes, you can't climb on trees, you can't break the trees, you can't use water in the place, obviously you can't spray paint, you can't step on the flowers, obviously that's a given. And you can't put manifests of any kinds of sports, even if it's a sport. For some reason you can't do that. No animals can come in. You can't make holes. You can't use open flame. You can't smoke and put your cigarette butts on the floor. I mean, who would do that in a park usually? But you know, you can't use skateboards, and you can't use offensive language in here really. And then here you can't get rid of material like waste material and stuff like that. You can't throw rocks around. You can't urine or defecate, that's obvious. I mean, and you have to go, little kids have to be accompanied and throw everything in the garbage. And then and they're sitting here at the bottom written, you know, be careful when you walk out because of cars and things like that. And then all the numbers of the ambulance, police and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, come on, really? Do you need that many things that you can't do in a park? And if you're looking at this side, that's how long the park is right behind me, and it goes all the way to this side. I'm saying it might be like 2 football fields long, and maybe about half of a football field in width. And as you can see here though, I mean, we're in a very urban, outside of city sort of town, and I'll tell you the story behind this place. And the gate's not even locked most of the time, so anybody can just walk in here. As you can see here, you can just open up the gate, you know, has the little lock in here. And strangely, they didn't have anything written down about recording video, so I'm gonna see how long I can last in here talking to you guys about this park before I get kicked out. That's just the way it is when you have a town that gets control of a park like that, you know. And this is the funny thing though too, they actually have like the billboard here talking about the park itself. So, but anyway, yeah, what I was saying though is that years ago, a friend of mine, he had a bar in the town here, and as soon as this park was built, we were wondering, we said, wow, there's a new park, you know, we never had parks over here that was built like this, you know, so you can go around and have a picnic or whatever. But this park was different. Why?
because in the beginning, when they first started, they had bunny rabbits. Yeah, they had actual bunny rabbits, free wild bunny rabbits that ran through here, and they built little burrows and little cement burrows and stuff where the bunny rabbits can hide, and for the nighttime where they can sleep and stuff like that. And that's obvious the reason why they didn't want any animals and stuff like that inside here. But it's just ridiculous to think that there's so many things that you can't do in this park. And one of the reasons why I said just now that when I first got into the gate about let's see how long I can last in here, because there is a small stream that's dividing the park from the residential area of the town. And right across from the stream, it seems, because every single time we came in here, across from the stream, there's the main guy that helped, the main projectionist that wanted to project the project to build this park. And the problem is that every single time somebody comes in this park and does anything out of the ordinary, this guy comes out and he starts screaming and screaming. And then so eventually what happened is that we're talking even in the summertime, nobody will come through this park. Nobody. It's funny as hell because there's a skate park on the other side. Everybody goes there. And across from the stream over here, there's a little play park for kids, and everybody goes there, and nobody comes through this park anymore because whoever built it is living straight across the stream in one of the apartments here. And every single time, every single time somebody comes through here, they just get kicked out, basically. I mean, who wants to come inside of a park where every single time you go in, they have somebody looking from a balcony? Because as you can see, there's a few balconies and stuff, people look out. I mean, this guy comes out and just, literally just unleashes all hell, so to speak. So it's funny though too. I mean, I remember the first time I came here, I let go of my dog because my dog was sitting there barking and stuff at the bunny rabbits, and I told my dog, I was like, hey, you're not going to catch those rabbits. They're way too fast. There's the back of the park, by the way. If you can see the little gate, there's a gate on the other side. There's a little gate way down there, and then there's a gate here connecting the little kids park, which I never understood why they needed a gate in the first place, because I understand the bunny rabbits, but the bunny rabbits are not going to jump into the water. They could have just put the gate on the other side. But anyway, I don't know. This park is weird because of that reason. And I don't exactly know the reason why or whatever happened, but it seems that I think, if I understood correctly, that people were either stealing the bunny rabbits or killing them or hunting them, or something was happening. So what happened is that they got rid of the bunny rabbits, and nobody comes to the park anymore, and the upkeep of the park is basically non-existent to this day. I mean, look at this. There's still some of the burrows over here, cement burrows of the bunny rabbits. Yeah, they had really, and it's bad though too, because this park is a nice park, and plus because this town always needed a park, because most of the people that live in this town are mostly elderly people and people that have families and small kids. So I was trying to figure out, how could they turn a park like that so bad? They even had their own pond over here. I passed by it before. I don't know if it caught on cam, but here, let me just show you this. There could have been, lots of things here that could have gone good, so to speak. But yeah, and that's what happens, sometimes in certain places here in Italy, is that, I could understand it was for good reason. Maybe the project had a good starting and stuff like that. But in the end, do you really need that many things that you can't do in a park? Really? I could understand the bunny rabbits and stuff like that, keeping your dogs and animals on the leash. But at the same time, wow, now the park is definitely nobody takes care of it anymore, because nobody goes inside the park anymore. Nobody cares. So there's even a fountain down here on the end. I'll show you that in a second. Going around the park here, I just
counting down the minutes for when this owner comes out and starts, raising hell. Somebody's been here. Guess somebody's been here. There's a water bottle on the floor, but anyway, let's go through here, show you guys. I just wanted to point out this park because it's a community park. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's more like a town community park sort of thing, but still, it's like, I feel bad for this place because it went bad, like, in the sense, I mean, sometimes the townspeople that work in the main town and stuff, the main town council, we were asking a million questions, me and my friends. We were like, were they on drugs? Were they having marital problems? What was the issue that they had to make this park so sparkly? And because to us it seemed more like personal conquest, personal, ego flaunting. Oh, our town is beautiful and yada yada yada. But and as I said before, the lock's open. The lock's open. Anybody can come in here whenever they want, but that's the issue. Nobody comes in here anymore. And let me just show you guys the sign again because it's just ridiculous. Like, oh my God, like, really? Yeah. And I'm not going to go on the other side because there's families and stuff that have kids over there. I don't want to mess with them because they see somebody filming. Italians are paranoid here in the north, like even down south sometimes. I mean, you find people that are just completely paranoid. Oh my God. And that's one of the main reasons why I think parks like this existed, because you put paranoid people in control of something that they shouldn't have controlled. They shouldn't have control of it in the first place, I mean, why give control to somebody that's totally paranoid? I mean, come on. It's a public park. If you wanted it to be private, you would have made it a private park. I just wanted to point that out because not all parks in Italy sometimes seem the way they are. That's one reason why I said you have to read the billboards before you go inside any park here in Italy. It's not like most parks where you can pretty much do whatever you want, considering nature and the work that was put in to build the park, basically, So I'm going to end this video here. And wow, they're building houses over here now. See, this is the thing. This place was totally empty years ago. That house wasn't there. The houses all the way down there weren't there. These new ones that they're building here were never there. This is basically like a big green grass lot, basically. And I feel bad because, I mean, the future families that have to move in here, they can't even go in this park anymore because, you have issues in the park. I don't understand that. No, none of us understood that. A friend of mine here had a bar of his, but seriously, like, we got to the bar and I asked my friend, I was like, did you see the park that they built? And he's like, yeah, we saw it though. The owner's crazy. And we're just like, why is he crazy? He's like, go to the park, you'll find out. So, I went to the park with my dog that day. I'm telling you, I got hell for that. Dog was sitting there chasing rabbits and stuff, which he did not catch, obviously. Some people going into the park right now. Apparently they saw me going in, now they're going in. Typical. That's typical. Like, for example, fights, for example, in Italy, you will never see two Italians going at it. You will never see that. You always see groups of Italians going at it between each other. Never two guys, because Italians fight in groups. That's all it is. But anyway, I'm about to go. It's getting late. I hope you liked the video of today. It wasn't as crazy as Milan. I had to do a lot of editing for that video, and it came out the way it came out. I told my friends, I was like, hey, we didn't prepare anything, so yeah. And maybe on the next few episodes, I might put in some parks. Might go all the way down to Lago di Garda. I've never been there, so my parents have been there. I have never been there. Yeah, I'll probably go down to Lago di Garda and we'll see what's over there. We'll see what kind of rules and regulations they have too in regards to park etiquette. Peace.